a service that they didn't support or didn't have support. This is them canceling a feature that a lot of people actually use. Why?
This is insane. See, and even your dog is angry about that. Like, they just said that Hangouts is going away August 1st. Try YouTube webcam instead. And I just booted it up, and God, this looks so weird.
Nah, fuck all that, man.
Exactly.
Is it even usable the same way?
I have no idea. I mean, I tried to use it one time when I got the Spider-Man PS4 Pro. I just wanted to do a live unboxing, and the quality of it oh my God, it wasn't good. Now I don't know if they fixed it since then, but I'm looking and we'll have to see. But yikes, Hangouts, the good thing that they have goes away. So that because everything makes sense, y'all.
They just that's
Man, I swear to God, if they're killing this to like free up server space for Stadia, I'm gonna scream.
I mean, it at Stadia, yeah. This man says Stadia, but without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sheep. Catch that reference? That's from everyone's favorite Marvel movie. We are back again. Guess who's back? Tell a friend. NXP boys have returned after their mini hiatus, if you will. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. We had a nice streak going for the first few months out of the year, and then well, we all got defeated by Avengers Endgame.
Hey, I've been ready to go.
Well, to be fair, this man Danny is always ready to go. You want to know why? Because he could do this all day. And he just had to. I just had to bring that up, and it's very relevant considering we're going to be tackling not one but two Marvel movies in a single podcast. But before all that, I got to introduce my stalwart companions flanking on my left. You know him, the Beard of Power, Path of Geo Freed. What other names have you gone by? Danny D's World. I know there was the original Krillin fan. There we go. I knew there was one.
That's the OG right there.
That's the original Danny.
Krillin fan.
That's ancient, man.
Yeah, I don't even know.
That's actually 10 years ago this year, believe it or not.
Yeah, I went back and started watching old protest videos, man. That shit was crazy.
Yo, good times. I don't know if anyone in this comment section. I mean, then again, let me not assume. Any of y'all remember those days? The DBE protest? Comment down below. But yeah, Danny, how the heck have you been, man?
Oh, I've been okay. That can't complain, I guess.
I will totally take that. And here we go. Flanking on our right, we've got first name Rots, last name formerly Young. Rob, what's going on, bro?
What's going on? You made that way more complicated than it needed to be.
I know I did, but I gotta make up for lost time, man. Because you know, if I don't, people are gonna be listening to this and they're like, "Oh, you guys just throwing this out for the sake of where's the theatrics at 10:04 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever y'all at." Oh, God.
True. I will say this, though. Even though you say I'm on your right, I'm always on your left.
Oh, snap. He went there. Not one, not two, but three Marvel references in one freaking movie. We killing it, boys. And without further ado, let's dive straight into the topics for today. Now, originally, we were going to space this out and tackle a variety of things. I think that's what we wanted to do because y'all don't know this, but you guys are getting not one, but two podcasts in a single weekend. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. To make up for lost time, we're going to be doing another duology. So in this podcast, since we might as well talk about what's on everybody's mind, we're going to be tackling Spider-Man Far From Home, in addition to giving some long overdue thoughts on Avengers Endgame. Now, considering that I've both done...
Hey, can I say something real quick? Can I confirm to the people that Sunday, when we give you our second podcast, we will not be having unfinished PS2 CGI added to it and shit like that.
Oh, hey, are you... Hey, man, listen, Hulk was amazing in that movie. Psych!
They took Hulk right out of that a 2003 game based off the movie.
Yo, that game was kind of lit. I ain't gonna
Man,
lie.
that game was shit though, man.
It was, man. The Hulk was just
I
running around, jumping.
check that jab, man. That game was pretty fire.
That game got me excited for them doing a reboot for the Hulk movie, man. I was like, yo, if they give us this Hulk, oh, it's gonna be lit. But more on that later. So we're tackling Spider-Man Far From Home tonight, in addition to Avengers Endgame. Now, I've done reviews for both of these movies. I'm actually going to record another one for Spider-Man Far From Home, one that's a little bit more coherent, because I was like 4 Long Island iced teas in when I recorded that, and I got a lot of stuff to say. I mean, hey, I was lit, man. I was, yo.
I didn't want to say nothing, but I kind of noticed.
Oh yeah, he could tell, man. I feel like I held my own throughout that video. As I was watching it back, I was like, you know what?
Joe,
bro, you were like 1 foot in the grave by the time you ended that.
1 foot in the grave, and I'm still over 6 feet. That's the crazy part about it.
Motherfucker, far from sober.
I should have titled that review, but hindsight being 2020.
Hey, you should call it that now. Don't even take it down when you do another one. Just call that one Far From Sober.
Wait, just go and change the video title right now.
Hell yeah.
I'm about to go do
Far
that.
From Sober.
Far From Sober review. Oh God. But yeah, so I've already done discussions. I'm gonna do another Spider-Man one eventually sometime this week, and then later on Sunday we're going to be doing another podcast where we're going to be tackling a lot of other things, talking about, of course, Godzilla King of the Monsters, because I feel like we can all speak on that at great length, and I don't feel right just trying to throw that into this podcast, so we're going to be splitting them up.
Especially since I finally got to see that one. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
a lot of shit happens. I think we can probably make things more personal there. We all chill out, talk about things we ain't had time to tonight, stuff like that.
Yeah. So just letting y'all know that off the jump, we're not really going to be responding too much as far as comments, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because, we got to get to the topic. So gentlemen, the floor is going to be yours, because Avengers Endgame, I'm not going to speak much on, because I literally did a 40-minute video review on it. So you guys can speak on that. Spider-Man Far From Home, y'all can speak on that. But what do you guys want to tackle first? Do you want to start with Endgame, considering it's, the one that we haven't discussed yet, or should we just dive into the most recent one? I feel like we should start with Endgame just because it would lead perfectly into Far From Home, but it's all up to you guys.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, you know what? Maybe we should do Endgame first, because I don't know. Far From Home was after Endgame.
Yeah, I know, but some people are like, I want to hear you talk about the new stuff. Forget about Endgame. I've heard about that, but yeah. So Avengers Endgame, y'all go ahead. I'll just listen.
All right. I'll go first, because I'm certain Danny probably have a lot more to say. But just right off the cuff, that movie was an experience, man. And I think I needed that entire year waiting since Infinity War. I think that just made it sting even more. It made me think about when there was a good big reference on good, when there was a good jarring change in a comic, and it would stay like that for a while, like when they did the death of Superman, and then there was no Superman property for a minute. Is it like that? I think after I saw Infinity War, that whole year of the memes and people in legit mourning over all these fictional characters and stuff like that, I needed that whole process to go in on Endgame, and just completely felt blown away. I know a lot of people gave the movie shit. They talk about the beginning is so slow. I was like, you got to see them rolling in this L, stuff like that. You got to see them rolling in this L. The whole thing with Captain Marvel. Completely forgot about Captain Marvel.
Don't worry, I'm pretty sure everyone else did. But anyway.
Yeah. So Captain Marvel, you could tell they kind of played it safe, because it's like after seeing so many of the actors do interviews, they filmed all the shit so damn early. A lot of them had no idea what the fuck they were filming and stuff like that. So they kind of played it safe when they introduced her and all that. But man, because now, see, damn it, man, we waited so long to do this. I gotta put myself back in that time when I went and sat down and saw that shit the first time.
Man, you about to get hella nostalgic up in this bitch.
Hell yeah, it's like I'm literally just trying to go back to that moment and stuff like that. But I did like I love the pace. I love that whole beginning. I love how almost most theories kind of got kicked to the side when they went ahead and did the pull up, on Thanos' ass and completely killed Gumbo for me. I will never, ever,
No.
I will never eat gumbo again because now I have this feeling whenever somebody is cooking gumbo, you about to get your ass beat, bro.
You can't sit down. You can't do nothing. God forbid. Yo, this man, can we just talk about that for a second? This man, Thanos, went and got his own crops, harvested the fruits of his labor, sitting down, cooking his food. Of course, he had to sip it. Needs more paprika. This man couldn't even sit down and load up Netflix before. Bah! Man, it was just like, oh my God. What was that? That Dave Chappelle sketch? What was that one Dave Chappelle sketch? I think you know the one I'm talking about, Rob.
I'm trying to remember because he's mentioned Dave Chappelle. I just think about it. Like, gotcha, bitch. But I mean, that was the pull up to end all pull ups right there.
Yo, straight up, they literally just pulled up on that guy like no joke. So let's get him. Yeah, they got him. Oh, they got him all right. Shoot,
man, that surprised the fuck out of me. He thought he thought he was so fucking far away from them. Them motherfuckers went all the way to the crib. Damn, shit like this. Oh man. So I wasn't expecting. A lot of people didn't theorize. I started to get an idea.
Yeah.
That there was going to be another confrontation with him early on because the trailers kept showing them in like two different. Everybody kept saying what gave it away was Black Widow. Was like depending on how she was looking, would dictate what time period this was in and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so when they tried to pull up, I don't know, Chris, if you remember my first theory, I thought they was gonna pull up and get their ass whooped again. This time somebody else was gonna get killed. That's what I thought they was gonna try again, get fucked up, then gotta really lick they wounds. Like, man, we can't touch this dude and stuff. But shit, they went the complete other way. They fucked him up, but he had already blew up the stones. Damn, they killed himself doing it and shit like that. So that was a nice shock. I feel like I want to soak up everything, Danny. So you want to just jump in at least about the early part of the movie? We go back.
Well, I mean, I do want to say that just to clarify, because I saw a couple people ask. Yeah, they did film Endgame before they filmed Captain Marvel. That was actually what her audition was for. That was the first time she got her suit. That was the first time everything. So part of the reason that they do kind of have her in like a minimal role in that movie is they had no idea what the movie that was actually going to come out before this one was going to do. So that I'm sure was all kinds of fun for the crew back then. I mean, I just can't imagine having to sit there and act at, a film where you're reacting to things that supposedly happened that you don't even know what they are yet. So, just God. The early bits of Endgame are actually some of my favorite, just because you see them like so without hope and realizing, over half the Earth's population is gone. And, what are we going to do? And then it's like, well, let's go there and deal with this. Let's go get that gauntlet. Let's go try to fix this, and yeah, that one faint glimmer of hope, and then they get there and they're gone. He already destroyed them. And when they get there too, like you said, he's just chilling there. He's trying to make food. He's half crippled. So it's like
straight up in his underwear.
So it's like when they
like welded to his hand.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
and
it's like burned.
Yeah, and it's like they get there too, and so they try to fight this guy, and they're expecting this epic battle, and it's over before it even begins. The stones are gone, so their one chance to fix this is gone, and it's like even Thor finally, just taking his damn head off, killing him. not even he can't even get satisfaction out of that. It doesn't even feel like he's avenged his people, because the guy was already he was done. Like, there was no fighting him. It wasn't even a match, nothing. And even though they quote unquote won, they lost. And that was like really evident in Thor, and that's honestly one of the best moments that Chris Hemsworth's had is Thor right there too. You can see it in his face, where like even though he's finally done what he wanted to do for the longest time, it's hollow. It means nothing to him, and you can see that that's like the moment that breaks Thor. It's just it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really does not matter.
It's like he literally saw that whole year worth of you should have went for the head memes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the craziest thing about that was? I remember I was talking to Rob about this when I first saw that scene. My audience had kind of like a hilarious reaction to when he said, I went for the head. But there's so much tragedy attached to that scene. And if you listen, they're playing the same music that they played at the end of Infinity War, when Thanos is just like walking and then he sits down and he nods his head, and they're playing it over there, but it's like they're playing it when Thor is walking out, but it's like more bombastic and sad as the camera just like fades away. Bro, that's just depressing. Like everything that you thought, like that last glimmer, that last strand of hope just evaporates. It's gone.
Yeah, they had to sit on that one, man. Random side note, I'll never forget after that moment when they cut off his head and Thor just walked out, it was dead quiet in the theater. So
Yeah.
I remember you just heard some random guy go, "Good work, team."
Good job, everyone.
Good work, guys.
We did it. We did it.
Go team, go!
Oh my God.
Oh man. Well, revenge is good enough, I guess. Let's go back home and shit like that. But yeah, man, that at that point I had no idea, and like this is very rare for a movie. After that, I had no idea what the fuck was going to happen. I mean, first of all, they did a really good job of not showing too much anyway. But everybody still had ideas. After that scene, I didn't know what was about to happen. I just threw my hands up and just vibed with it. I'm like, let's go, baby. Let's fucking go.
It's just get in the car, buckle your seatbelt. And can we talk about how that's another example of how to subvert expectations properly?
I know, right? It's like, I mean, yeah. It's gonna be what, another 20 years till it's done, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah,
it's one of those things where, like, Infinity War did it beautifully. Like at the end, especially when Thor buried that axe in him like that, part of you was like, okay, so they managed to just stop this from happening, right? And it's like, of course they found a way to stop it. Of course they're not going to actually go through with that, yada yada. And then, he's murmuring something, and Thor leans in, and you hear, "You should have gone for the head," and then snap. And I love too that first it's just so dead quiet after that. Everything goes white. Thanos is in that other plane for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and then everyone just slowly starts like, that's the cool part too. I love the way they handled that. It was so understated. Like, if they had just done this big old thing where everyone's just like bam, 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 like the music was all soft and quiet. You just saw everyone slowly start fading, turning into dust. It wasn't overstated. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't hammed up. And just bam, poof, gone. And everyone's just going to sit there with the realization that, Captain America, just the way he hit the ground like that, just staring off into the distance. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It just dawned on them. They just lost.
They lost.
Like hardcore lost. The bad guy won. That's it. And then when Endgame starts up, you're expecting the same thing, and you are expecting them to go after him and maybe fight him, and maybe they get, beaten or something the first time, or maybe you did not expect them to find him like that. You did not expect him to destroy those stones. You did not expect any of that. And then it hits you, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. This is starting to look really permanent. What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
and it's like a gut punch to start the next movie off with, and you're just, and it's done in a way that it doesn't feel forced. It's not an insult. It's not something that you have to treat your audience like they're stupid for them to not see coming or something like that. It's not building up something and then just yanking the rug out from under it. It's just genuinely, and it's subverting their expectations, and it's done in a way that helps the story. It's done in a healthy way moving forward, because they knew everyone was going to come in there with all these theories and preconceived notions about how this is going to go down. Everyone's like, oh, Captain Marvel, she's going to one-shot Thanos now, or oh man, the Iron Man's just going to come in there and kill the crap out of him for what he did to Spider-Man, or oh, this and that, and none of that happens. Just none of it. It's like the first thing they did was make sure that every single fan theory out there was just like shot dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one thing I love about the Russo brothers more than anything. It's like, again, another example of class. They didn't come out and shit all over on the fan theories and stuff compared to another roundhead guy we know.
They actually joined in on it. They were memeing along with everybody else. They even had the whole Ant-Man going up Thanos.
Yo!
They actually had that as their profile picture on Instagram and everything. It was crazy.
Didn't Josh Brolin participate in that too?
Oh yeah,
he was sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, he was training to face Ant-Man, and he's just sitting there on the toilet screaming like he's trying to go Super Saiyan or something. it was amazing. Just it's like they played along with it. They didn't sit there, trying to intentionally take a dump on everybody.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, on the one hand, I understand not wanting to let fan theories get out of control. On the other hand, it's like they're just, just let them have their fun. Do what you're going to do. Let them have their fun. And in a way, that actually was a way of kind of discouraging some of these fan theories too, because it's like, do you really think they'd be playing along with this if it was really going to be in their big super secret movie, But people still were allowed to have their fun, and there you go. That's how you do that.
That's how you do. The more you allow people to talk about your movie, the better. Whether people make theories and some of them go completely wrong, and it doesn't matter. People are talking about it. Everybody's having good fun. And I've seen a lot of creative ass theories out there. I mean, I'm a guy that I love to speculate. I might be completely wrong at the end of the day, but I love to speculate because I like thinking about things. I like trying to anticipate things. It's just a good hobby, and it's healthy for the brain.
Yeah.
So it's like I just love that. So so to go in with so many ideas and just straight from jump, they cut your arm off, shit like they cut his arm off and shit like that. You thought you was about to happen in this shit, yeah. And like this is still how to do a cinematic universe, because so then we could segue that right into the next big thing was with Ant-Man. And, shout out to the rat that kind of got him out of there.
The rat, the real MVP, the real star of this.
Shout out to the rat. That was nobody but God. Look at God. That was nobody but God right there. But so with the rat and then Ant-Man coming out, and then now you have two completely separate reactions that you have to come to terms with all this stuff. And then you have Ant-Man, who just felt like it's been hours and the whole world is different now. His reaction was just so genuine. That was like a really good moment as well too.
Yeah, it was honestly well, it's kind of funny because Ant-Man, he's like a fanboy of Captain America, looks up to him so much, and now he finally got like a small taste of what Steve experienced when he woke up.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So, and it's crazy. He comes up, and then they have that giant ass memorial wall and shit, and he's looking, last names and stuff like that. Like, man, that's heavy, man. And man, he had the whole world to readjust to and all that.
And he goes to see his daughter again, and she's like half grown now.
Yeah, man. Like that's but this is the type of shit that happens in these superheroes. The weird shit like this happens, and to actually see it and not half-assed you know, I gotta give a round of applause for that. Weird shit like this happens, you know. This is we've come so far from Cloud Galactus, man.
Oh.
So far. So hopefully we can get that done right one day. So, you know, but you know, we gotta get there. But yeah, so then you know that and then shit, I don't want to go through the whole damn movie, but just in general with them just setting that mood early, man, it's like people I mean I get some people just went in there for the thrill. They wanted the real run back to see what happens and all that. But I was like, man, that beginning part is needed. That shit is needed for it to set in with you, man.
Oh yeah.
And then it becomes a very different movie when they start, you know, discussing, you know, the time heist, you know, and it's
Oh
like,
God. Yeah. Can I just say that
yeah,
okay, here's the thing. I see a lot of people say that they really screwed up with time travel. Um, I actually disagree. Honest to God, that is some of the single most it's one of the single most coherent cases of time travel I've actually seen in a movie. They
Right.
have their rules, they set their rules. The only way they run into a snag is near the end, and that's actually because there's a difference of opinion between the writers and the directors and how they interpreted a certain thing. But other than that, yeah, it was really coherent. It was really straightforward. It was well explained, and they stuck to it.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, there are consequences for it, and they've said we're going to see some consequences of what happened in that, especially Loki getting the Tesseract and escaping in the future. In fact, honestly, I would not be shocked to learn if that's actually what they used as like the basis or the conceit behind either that Loki series that they're going to be doing, like an alternate universe where he's just screwing around, or even if he's actually responsible for their What If series that they're doing, the animated one.
I kind
Right.
I kind of figured as much that yeah,
Just
he
because
played on.
Loki, even if he's not necessarily inherently evil, he's definitely just chaotic. You know, he's chaos.
Trickster.
He loves
Yeah.
to screw with people.
Right.
So he would be the kind of person who would find a way to go through history and be like, "What if I did that? What if you know, that kind of thing."
Mm-hmm.
So they could actually use it as a basis for that, yeah. But honestly, though, what
Hey, real
the
quick,
ending of the Endgame is something we really have to talk about, though.
Of course. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll touch on that.
real quick. So we talking about Loki doing what if shit. What would be the odds that we actually get get Frank Castle, the Sorcerer Extreme?
Oh,
Oh, we're going down a deep rabbit hole with that one.
With his magically conjured guns and shit.
oh, hey, have you seen like the Infinity Warps series that Marvel did?
I haven't.
It's kind of like the Amalgam comics back in the day, except it's all done with like Marvel characters. Like there's Iron Hammer, which is basically Thor in a suit of armor.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Sorcerer Supreme or the Soldier Supreme, which is Steve Rogers, Captain America, but he actually basically winds up being trained by the Ancient One and becoming the Sorcerer Supreme.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, it's some interesting concepts. Some of them it was kind of hit or miss, but those two especially were like really interesting. Um, so I wouldn't mind seeing something with them in like that What If series at least.
Hmm.
Hell yeah, that's the type of fun they could have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But but yeah, I mean, yeah, their idea of time travel is like I like it, you know. It's somewhat different from most, and I mean, anybody can come out and make some type of film and showcase their own idea of time travel. So it's like it's not really like, and I like how they even tried to address that like right off the cuff. Most of the
Oh,
people
definitely.
went towards movies and shit, like they went to
You mean it's not like Back to the Future?
So Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit.
like seriously. So it's like, you know, I mean, because that's people's first thoughts and stuff, and I like that, you know, Banner got to the point he was getting fed up. He's like, how many times we gotta go over this? He's like you can't change the present by changing something in the past or whatever the fuck he
Yeah, he
said.
was just like, He's like, that's not how time travel works. When you go back in time, your old past, your future becomes your past, and your new past becomes your present, or something like that.
Yeah,
I was
like,
just like,
I'd
dang.
just like
Or
to
your current present becomes your future.
I'd just like to point out one thing. That's actually kind of similar to how Dragon Ball time travel works.
that's what we said too.
Oh, snap!
That's
It is
exactly it. It's like you affect that
timeline.
exactly, but like you can't change yours. It's like Trunks really thought he was gonna change some shit back home and realized, oh fuck, no.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like I said, that was one of the best, the biggest real. Well, honestly, to me, one of the revelations of the Cell saga, in the Android saga, when you found out that it doesn't change anything, it's like, oh
Oh,
shit.
well, it did, but it changed things in that timeline, and it actually kind of made it
that's
worse.
Yeah, yeah, in that timeline, yeah, of course, of course.
There's 19 and 20 now, and
Mhm.
17 and 18 are scary strong, a lot stronger than they were in his. And
exactly. So yeah, I mean, you know what? That's immediately what I thought of. I was like, yeah, it kind of remind me of how DBZ handled that. So so yes, props to them because it was different, and it actually helps them a lot when they want to do more. See now that I mean, I don't want to kind of go back to what we were saying, but like this is how they can play with more stuff, and not just randomly announce Elseworld movies and shit. So it's
Right.
like that other side and shit like that.
Hey, hey, hey. No Shazam slander on this feed.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about that Red Sun movie, man.
Are they actually working on that? Because last time I
Yep.
heard they were doing a Supergirl movie. Shit.
Nope, they are doing a Red Sun movie.
Oh, why?
There's no word yet, though, on whether or not it's going to be an animated movie. It's
Hey.
apparently. I'm thinking they're probably going to do that just because no matter how you spin it, Red Sun's a bit of a gamble.
Can we just do another Death of Superman and call it a damn day?
Well, I mean, they're doing that in animated format.
No, another one.
Why?
It's like the fourth Death of Superman in 10 years.
doing a Death of Superman.
Why? What is their motive with killing Superman?
Well, it's either kill him or make him evil. That's like their fetish, and I don't get that. Even James Gunn kind of fell prey to that with his Brightburn thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, yeah, but this is how this frees up Marvel to be able to do things like that, and you wouldn't really kind of bat an eye at
Well, especially if they do it on like Disney Plus, where they don't have to worry about getting a huge audience for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that helps out. So it's like they hit like 4 or 5 birds with one stone, like that.
My biggest fear about this, and well, you know what? I'll save this for when we touch on the ending portion. But I mean, since we're speaking about like the first act of the movie, right before we get into, because the time travel bit, the time heist is where it starts picking up. I don't know about y'all. I mean, obviously, I think we're all in agreement, but I think that the first half was warranted not only to show what they were going through, but hasn't this been the biggest complaint for the longest time people have with superhero movies? Like they go through a traumatic event, 5 minutes pass, they're down on their knees, and they're just like, they can't get through this. And then, whoop, we got to do it. We got to save the day again. I thought that people wanted these movies to kind of let these characters breathe and show you that, hey, shit happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. But go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say real quick, just to kind of answer, what's this? Dead Wade. Yeah, that's exactly it. So Nebula killing herself, just that timeline has no Nebula now. It's not like she was gonna fade away. It's like that. I mean, shit, damn, Thanos just completely disappeared from that timeline and shit like that.
Thanos disappeared. The stones from that timeline disappeared. So you got to wonder what's happening with the Guardians there, because Peter Quill is just going to show up and there's no stone, and the Guardians might not even form in that timeline.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if y'all ever disregard the assholes shooting outside.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, you good, bro.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I don't know if y'all caught that or not.
I
But
did. I did.
Yeah, I had a feeling you did because I'm looking at these assholes right now. But but yeah, that's exactly how it works. So they were able to have fun with this. I remember people, man. Did y'all see? I mean, it died quickly, but there were some people trying to go like this movie makes no fucking sense.
Oh, you
How
know.
did, how did Nebula kill the past Nebula? What the fuck? Oh, that's, I was like, wow, y'all really tried to use that shit, try to hit it with that thumbs down.
That's the thing I don't understand, because it's explained in the movie, and a lot of people I've seen comparisons that, oh, you guys shit on the X-Men movies, but you give this a pass, and I'm like, because the X-Men
Woo! Don't
movies,
get me started on the X-Men.
yeah, we ain't gonna get into that, but
Proceed. I mean, gotcha.
going forward, go ahead, y'all continue.
But no, was you about to say something? No, I mean, gotcha.
No, I just want to comment about how I really loved the first act of the movie. And that was it.
Yeah. So I mean, the time heist was fun. Was fun to see. I do look. This is another thing. Like I mean, most of the MCU movies when they kind of found their footing,
Right.
it was like mostly good. But there's very few moments where I would see people hold on to every single thing a film does. It's very few moments I've seen people get that caught up into it. Like the most recent I can think of was like Endgame, Infinity War, of course. I mean, there's so many funny ass stories. There's actually a YouTube channel of this couple, and the lady was talking about how she was pregnant when they went and saw Infinity War, and like her water broke in the movie, but she still wanted to finish the movie and shit like that. And so that's pretty funny and all that. So it's like Infinity War kind of had people just holding on to everything that was happening. And another moment I could think about, go all the way back to, and I told the story to Danny a few times before. And Winter Soldier, when Bucky caught that damn shield, I heard people audibly gasp, like, shit was crazy, stuff like that. So this was just another one of those situations where people were just hanging on every little thing that was happening. And
that Captain America scene.
Oh, I love that Captain America scene, bro.
Oh god,
That thing was the stuff of legends.
That was so friggin' amazing. Like what I love too is that they didn't try to play it off like, your typical old Thor's jealous or not. No, the look on his face was like he looked so genuinely happy about that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I knew it.
Y'all talking about that moment. See, I thought y'all was talking about the fight.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of good moments with Cap in this movie, man.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Captain America scene, I was thinking, so I was like, thought y'all was talking about the fight, the mirror match for Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh god.
All day. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That was something.
Y'all see people try to pick up that theory, thinking Cap like wiped his mind with Loki's staff, and they thought it was gonna like lead into him being reprogrammed to be Nazi Cap or some shit like that.
Yeah, there were some people trying to run with
that. But yeah, I mean, Cap really showed out. Like I could get if some people were indifferent about Cap, but like Winter Soldier on up should have really showed you why people love Cap so much.
Right.
Like it's like I actually seen some people say that it wasn't until Winter Soldier that I actually started to see why people like Captain America so much and stuff like that. And I've always liked Cap. It's the Captain, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. You got to show your respect.
Exactly, So, but it was good that he had so many moments, and I like that you got to see a lot more to him in this movie. Just kind of seen him unravel a bit more, and see that burden he kind of has from being a leader. It's like feels like the shit was weighing on him all the time. But so yeah, let's go ahead and get to this moment, man, because I gotta talk. We got. Yeah. So just to kind of go overall the time heist. You guys enjoyed it? Felt they fucked up at any point? What?
I thought it was great because I thought it was sort of like an inversion to what they did in Infinity War, where that's what Thanos's basically was. Like his time heist was literally, a quest to, bring balance to the universe, and now they're just trying to bring balance to the universe by saving the universe. It was like nice. It was like a different perspective.
One thing that I did like is that they sort of almost retroactively, my bad, kind of explained, Jarvis being an AI in this universe, and it's because Jarvis was actually his dad's chauffeur, and Tony actually named his AI Jarvis after.
Yeah.
Well,
after
the thing is, it's the first time they touched on it in the movies, but they actually pointed that out in the Agent Carter TV series.
We don't talk about that.
Hey,
Anyway,
I'm just saying.
and then we don't talk about it. But I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But I did like that they kind of especially since, look, I'm going to be real. The TV series have very questionable canonicity.
True.
And that's
You're
Agent
right.
Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You're right.
So this definitely
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still alive.
Apparently.
Yeah, barely somehow. And it's weird because from what I'm able to understand, this is from just reading tweets about it and everything that occasionally pop up. Coulson's dead or effectively dead, and now Clark Gregg is actually playing a different character, but somehow steal him or something like that. It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. And the whole Inhumans thing, and they were really trying to tie. You could tell they were ready to tie it in with that show, and then suddenly they didn't, and then the whole Ghost Rider thing, and now people are really, really on edge about the whole. I guess there's supposed to be a series coming based on that. I don't know if it's TV or
coming to Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. There you go. And there are people that are arguing about whether or not it should be based on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or should be its own thing or should be. There are even people arguing about which Ghost Rider it should be again.
I will say this though, it is absolutely funny how the instant they changed the sub name, because when it was Ghost Rider's time, it was called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider. The instant that part of the story was done, everybody stopped talking about that shit again. Even that's the only time I watched. And I'm not even a big fan of that particular Ghost Rider. I just watched it because it's a familiar name, the Ghost Rider shit like that. And
I remember hearing you complain weekly.
Oh hell yeah, because they tried. I don't know what the fuck they thought they was doing with the Ghost Rider. To be honest, it was they wanted to take the different character of Robbie Reyes, but they didn't want to do everything with the fact that his spirit Avengers would have been his uncle, but his uncle was alive already. They literally just tried to take Robbie Reyes and just make him young Johnny Blaze, young Daniel Ketch that has a muscle car and shit like that. And from that perspective, I was like, okay, maybe I could vibe with him a lot more than the comic version that's so edgy and shit like that. But I mean, they tried so hard to make him. The thing I always, and I'll make this quick because we'll get. The thing I always laughed about that Ghost Rider was that they always gave him the cheesy one-liners and shit like that, and it was he would say something. And you can tell, if they had that meme where he could put the shades on and walk off, you could tell he really was feeling himself saying a lot of those lines and shit like that. So, he had to fight that one Inhuman, what the fuck was his name? Hellfire, I think. And so he tries to hit Reyes with a fireball. He absorbs the fire, and his eyes start glowing. He you ready to pay for your sins? And shit. I was like, stop. Just stop, bro. Stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, so they tried real hard, but it had no real identity. It was it was Ghost Rider with a little bit of Hulk and a little bit of Johnny Blaze and Daniel Ketch to it. So I don't know what happens with that. Should they keep that one? I would probably say for the actor, maybe they could rebrand him a little bit or reboot him a little bit because I did like the actor. But I don't know. I don't know what happened. I definitely say they could do something and treat because I always compare the Ghost Rider to how DC kind of does with the Green Lantern. because like when they say Green Lantern, you go which one?
Right.
Kyle, Kyle or John Stewart. The Ghost Rider, you can do the same thing. You can probably have if you play your cards right, you could have had a Ghost Rider on each avenue, one movie, one stream, one TV, something like that. I don't know.
Could have been
But,
interesting.
yeah, each one could have a different vibe of different ratings, different demographics. See which one does better. I don't know. But stuff like that is that they could probably do. But yeah, I was just curious because I remember like after they wrote the Ghost Rider off, people didn't talk about that show as much as they
Yeah,
did.
didn't after that? Didn't they go into like that whole thing with like the LMDs and whatnot? And
That's exactly what that was. That was the
yeah,
next
yeah,
subtitle.
that's about the time everyone started dropping off
Yep.
the hype train.
Because they started doing that shit where you could tell what the theme of this part of the season was because of the subtitles. So we're from Agents of Shield Ghost Rider to Agents of Shield LMD. but yeah, so back to Endgame because we completely jumped off. But that's why I love talking to you guys because we just derail for a second and stuff like that. So yeah, might as well just get down to the anchor point of the movie so we can go ahead and try to wrap this up. I did say before we get into the actual fight, Thor calling for Mjolnir. Why exactly did he take it with him, Danny? Like did they state why? It's like I can see him calling it for him. Was it just for like moral support or something like that?
Possibly. I think it's just to kind of remind himself that he was, worthy. Stormbreaker just came to him because he called for it because he's the, Asgardian royalty, and he has the power of Thor. It's in his line. It's in his blood. So of course, when he calls for the weapon, it's going to come to him. The same reason that once Cap was able to wield Mjolnir, he could call for Stormbreaker too because he has the power of Thor. So
Yeah.
he's effectively recognized as another Thor. But Mjolnir would only come to someone who was worthy to wield it. And basically, yeah, after being depressed for that long, after just completely giving up on himself and letting himself go, having that come to him when he called it, just you could see how much that meant to him. He almost started crying right
That
there.
was beautiful.
Hell
I
yeah.
loved it.
I love that he called it. I was just curious. I was like, why did he take it with him, though?
Well, see, that I think is also part of why he said I knew it later. I think that he was kind of thinking or hoping that perhaps Steve,
okay. I see where you go with that.
yeah, because he saw him budget in Age of Ultron, and it's like, I wonder.
Someone brought up a good point. Imagine 2013 Thor was like, "Where's my hammer?"
Well, yeah, I'm sure that had to get returned to the exact place it was.
Yeah, but could you imagine just like the Thor: The Dark World about to end very differently?
If they would all got clapped, yeah, and they couldn't bring that shit back.
I mean, hey, maybe Malekith will be in a better movie then. Oops.
Damn, bro, he cut that deep. Shit.
So that does make me wonder, though. Does that mean that Steve Rogers had to go exactly back to when Rocket and like in Jane's like right ass cheek and sucked out that ether? Does that mean that he had to like walk right up to her and immediately jab another one in her left?
That's what confuses me because Cap had to go into these different timelines and
mean,
make those changes, and it's just like, wait a minute. So aren't you creating another timeline?
You know what we need no, because so long as those things get put right back where they were taken from, it's the timeline will resume like nothing happened.
I guess, but is he not supposed to come in contact with the other members?
It's like yeah. How do you undo it?
You know what reminds me of that episode of Family Guy with the multiverse? You know how they kept going back in time, Stewie and Brian, and we're like, we're from the further future, and we're gonna stop you guys from doing what's gonna happen to them.
Hell yeah.
I'm guessing that he'd have to find an alternative way to get it back into her, but yeah.
Right.
I mean, can he just I was gonna say just like drop the shit on the tables.
Drop it there, like, oh hey, there it is.
It did choose her for a host, so all he'd probably have to do is let it back out, and it would go right back in. So.
Probably.
But another thing, like that you know how they did like those mini movies for like different movies back in the day, like with Coulson and with with
like the one shots.
yeah, the little one shot movie things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them do that, but it's just Cap trying to put everything back without messing things up further.
Yeah,
Make that. I will watch the crap out of that.
That'd be hilarious. Holy crap.
I just want to see the look on Red Skull's face.
Speaking of Red Skull, oh man, I need to see that interaction. That's just like, hey, I survived. Me too.
Right, exactly. I'm like, so can he still leave or what? Because in his eyes, he thinks Steve just popped the fuck up. I'm not sure how that works. I'm like, can he still leave, or in his mind, would Cap just shoot?
I still can't get over Red Skull. That's just.
I love that scene so much.
Man, you know that
we
man.
all think we are worthy. We are wrong. That was I did not expect that coming. Like out of all the things in Infinity War, that nah.
Was that still Hugo Weaving complaining ass?
Nah, that wasn't him. That was one of the, Ross Marquand. I think he's from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
That was no Hugo Weaving. You know he was not coming back.
No, it was somebody who actually believe it or not, he actually got that part just screwing around. He was there and he like did an impression of him. and yeah, they're like, you can do that dead on. Can you maybe do this for us? And he said, sure. And that's how he got the part.
So you're telling me that Marvel will allow an impressionist, but Lucasfilm, you know what? Let me not.
Yeah. No. Seriously, the Red Skull about to put Mari out of a job.
Yo, right? Yo,
hey, for real, he up there. He telling people their parents they ain't know who the fuck they was.
Straight up, man. He's like, oh wait, I didn't know my father.
Hey, everybody got to make a little bread like the Joker.
Nah, he's gonna put both Maury and Jerry Springer out of a job. Fighting over who's gonna die first.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. We gotta get back on track here. Getting near the. See, I want to talk about the ending, but I also want to talk about some of the complaints that I've seen toward this movie that I think are kind of dumb. And
I feel like we can do that towards the end. We can just finish it and go.
Yeah. But the ending, like just that final battle, was freaking incredible.
Beautiful.
Oh, God.
Beautiful. I don't have a single complaint about that, honestly. I just nothing about that felt out of place. It you know, everybody got a moment to shine. God, oh man, Wanda was downright scary. I love that.
Ooh, the Scarlet Witch. Let's go.
Yeah, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are, and she's like, "You will."
Wanda with the Kaioken times 20.
God, man, that was one of the most badass moments in that whole movie. Just
and again, how the audience hangs on everything. When she dropped down, I heard everybody go, "Ooh!"
No, like
They just knew, like, oh shit.
I love that scene, if only because, like, when you think about it, Thanos is literally directly responsible for her. She didn't just lose vision because of him. She lost her brother because of his BS. She lost literally everything because of everything.
So
everything.
The fury, the damn fury. I was
no, the best part was after he said, "I don't even know who you are," and she was like, "You will."
Oh, I know that was.
Dude, like, that fight was just a thing of.
You ever have one of those moments where you could ask a movie character to marry you?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
The best part about it was freaking that old Thanos. I bet he did not expect all that stuff. Like, who the fuck are these niggas?
Shit, bro.
All of a sudden, man.
I think that dude got people with beef there that he ain't even heard of.
Yeah,
no, fact.
Everybody was pulling up on him. He ain't know why, bro.
They're like, who are these people? You got a giant ass ant. You got people flying in on Pegasus. Like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah, we gotta give a little bit of time to the fucking portal scene, man.
Oh my God! Just the setup of that, Alan
Dude,
Silvestri. Oh, your score.
Yeah, but like even before that portal, just the setup for that and seeing
Oh my God!
Steve standing there staring at that whole ass army with that broken shield, and he still just tightened it and got ready to fight again.
he
Like,
was
That
about to, he
yo,
could do this all day, bro.
literally,
that
bro.
like that moment was just so beautiful, and it was like that's like the quintessential Captain America moment too. Like
Yep.
even if he's the only one there standing ready to fight, he's gonna do it. Period. Because he can't not do it. Which also is I mean that ties into something that I'm going to say later, so I'm gonna pause on that for right now. But
Yeah, but yeah, that scene. Oh man, that's when for me there was moments where I was having feels through the movie, but I could like the levees broke on that shit when Sam hit that on your left and the portal started opening up and shit.
Oh, the setup for that where there was like the radio was like, Cap, can you hear me? Cap, can you hear me? It's Sam. I was like, what?
Oh man, that shit got me. And then T'Challa comes walking out looking mean as hell. And shit.
No, and he just nodded like, yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we in this bitch. And then
how dare you make my death ironic?
Right? Yo.
Hey, man, he was like, as I was saying, this is not the time to die, motherfucker. as I was saying, motherfucker. And shit. And then man, I love that camera pan when Falcon comes and hits that bank out the portal and shit. And I was like, oh man, I just love it. And everybody started, and then I remember everybody was getting their own applause when they showed up when Strange came levitating down and shit. Like everybody was, oh man, that shit. It was like
Strange's stock's gone way up because of these.
Yo, fact.
oh yeah, bro. Strange is that dude now. It's like like you see so many kids now with the drawn on goatee and the stash shit.
Yo.
Strange for Halloween and shit, bro. Like that shit kills me.
I ain't going front. Even my theater, they gave a little bit of applause for the Wasp. I was like, hey, yo, we out here, man.
Hey, for real, yeah, the Wasp, Bucky got a sizable fucking applause in my theater.
Can we just talk about all these people who are just like, why is Bucky still in these movies? He's over here with a damn machine gun. What is he gonna do? I'm like, yo, he's literally a super soldier. Like, what?
Yeah, the fuck y'all? Did y'all forget what he was capable of?
They did, but man, I think what cemented it more than anything is had it not been that musical score, I don't think it would have been as good because everything timed perfectly. Like, and then it goes into the classic Avengers theme. Oh, bro, I almost cried. I legit almost cried during that scene because that's literally what we've been waiting for years.
And oh man, before that though, taking half a step back, when they were all trapped under that rubble,
yeah,
and Rhodey's the braces on his legs broke.
Yeah,
I actually thought that was kind of a nice touch, only because it was a very nice reminder that, you know, there were still consequences from Civil War. He literally needed those things on his legs.
No, there weren't. No, there weren't casualties. There are no casualties in the Marvel fake death universe, according to people online.
Yeah,
it was just but I love that though. It's just it's just like a continuity moment and kind of a small, but it's like it's so refreshing to see that like reinforced, despite all these people insisting that, oh, you know, all he got was light up pants. It's no big. It's like, bro, he is literally paralyzed from the waist down without those braces on, and there it was.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry, not everybody can kill one of the most popular people in the second fucking movie, man. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Maybe they should have still killed Stark in the second movie so Fury could go, oh, shit.
Like he died in his second movie? Yup. Ah, shit.
Can you imagine being...
You're Rhodey. You can fit in these suits, right?
Can you imagine a studio hating a character so much that they kill them in their second movie?
Second movie, bro.
I hated that guy. Like, what? It's like Superman kicked your puppy or something. Like, he's the villain. Yo, y'all remember that? Y'all remember that image? I mean, not to segue, but fuck it, let's segue. Y'all remember that image? It's like Batman versus Superman from Batman's perspective, and it was like Thomas Wayne as before he got shot, and then it was Henry Cavill holding the gun.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Makes about as much sense.
Oh shit!
Oh god, that was the best.
Actually, makes more sense. But anyway,
You gonna fight a guy with a damn gun in him? Oh god.
but yeah, just seeing everybody come back.
And
And man, Clint stock really rose in this movie too. Like, dang,
yeah,
Facts.
seeing the stuff. Look, speaking of that, Black Panther, first thing he does, Clint.
Clint,
Clean.
Clint,
Give it to me.
Yes.
give it to me.
It's like, oh, he does care now.
Oh, it's not even just that. It's not even just that. I mean, that obviously, but there was also freaking Wasp. How she said after they were talking about how they're gonna get to the van, she was on, "We're on it, Cap," and I was like, "Oh shit," because she kind of ridiculed freaking Ant-Man for like you call him Cap.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's all in on that shit. Like, yeah, but yeah, she did get a. I'm surprised how much of a reaction she did get too. But then again, everybody that popped up on camera was getting like a ovation.
Yeah, it was nice to see. Like, that's the thing. As much as people kept trying to be cynical and like, who cares? You know, we're gonna see him again. They're not gonna. It's like the second they showed up on that screen, these same people up on their feet, applauding and hollering and
trying not to get hype.
like,
Yeah, that's like a motherfucker that don't want to get excited about riding a roller coaster because he just gonna get off the shit at the end. It's the journey, motherfucker, not the end of it.
yeah, but can we have a moment of silence for the ones that didn't get to come back?
Oh, dun.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I cried when that died. That was sad.
That was, man.
Like
Just that whole back and forth, man.
Yeah, it was sad for both. Like the fact that Clint was that like hopeless without his family, you know, that was heartbreaking too. But like the way she was like, you know, I need to do this. You need to be with your family. No, I need to do this. I need to bring him back. That back and forth, and then I also like the fact though that a lot of people were theorizing based on the trailers that they were going to try to do like a romance with those two now.
Oh god,
I am so glad they didn't take that route.
Yes.
I really am. Like,
I love it.
If it feels anybody else, they probably would have tried that shit. The whole trauma pushed them together bullshit. You know,
Oh god.
and then the real sacrifices. They have to sacrifice their love because his family will be back and he needs to be with them.
Oh god, fucking Joss Whedon type head.
Yeah, I know. That I was so glad they ducked that. Like,
yeah, but it's like, man, that's a wound that ain't gonna heal no time soon, especially since we gonna see her again in that movie and stuff. I'm like, I just wanted to come back, man. Shit.
Yeah, I know. Like, I want to see that Black Widow movie just to see her again.
I know, man. And it's just sad because she would have kicked so much ass during the A4 scene.
Yeah. But and that's the other thing too. Like that's part of it that hurts. Like we technically lost, you know, Cap and all that, but that was a choice. So I understand why that's not quite so emotional. But I see all this emotional focus, not to diminish what he did. I'm not trying to, you know, because what he did, it does deserve focus, emotion, everything else. But we see all this emotional focus and everything, you know, shifted to Iron Man for the sacrifice he makes. Which, again, not to take away from that, because that was a heroic ass death, you know, the big deal.
We ain't seen nothing about him yet. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh God, man, I ain't trying to cry.
I ain't seen nothing that anyone seems to be doing in memory of Natasha, and that bugs me.
You know what it is? Because it's kind of like that mid-death movie moment where, you know, it matters, but at the same time, it's like we got to focus on the other shit too, you know?
Like the moment that she did that, she could not come back. She is that rock. She's in that now. Like,
I remember like that shit. That was a slow burn sadness. Then I kept thinking about it. I was like, man, she ain't got no family. Shit.
Did she have any family? Us.
Yeah, that was.
I'm kind of glad too that they didn't. I'm also kind of glad they ducked the whole Natasha and Bruce thing. Like,
yeah,
because realistically, they would have moved on because while there was something there, nothing ever came of it. Years passed, etc. You know.
Yeah.
But he was still hurt that she died, and that's good, and that's normal, and that's fine. And they didn't like dwell on the awkward. Well, I'll say it, awkward, forced Whedon romance, but I digress.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like that whole encounter, that whole fucking encounter though, man, was fucking beautiful. Cap, I guess we can give it a little bit of time. Cap lifting that hammer and going straight Marvel versus Capcom 5.
Oh
Oh
God,
god,
yes.
Yo, let me tell you,
he straight up hit Thanos with the Shoryuken with that hammer.
Yo, right?
let me tell you, there was a moment where I literally stood up out of my seat. I don't give a fuck if the person behind me couldn't see. I fucking stood up for a second. I had to sit right back. When Cap, he threw the shield and threw the hammer. And then when he caught the hammer, it hit the shield back into his head. I fucking lost it, bro. I fucking lost it. Bro. I was like,
yo, when he just threw that shit, he's like, got him.
Whoa, I was, bro. He was switching off through the shield, through the hammer. Both bounced off. He called the hammer back. The hammer hit the shield, caught the hammer. I'm like, this dude is killing this motherfucker.
All right.
Yeah, he was straight up whooping Thanos' ass.
He was, bro.
I fucking lost. At that point, I stood up for a second. I had to force myself to sit back.
I couldn't help but kind of laugh a bit though when he first did it. You know, I mean, it was hype. It was a hype moment. You know, you see that hammer go flying, hits Thanos, then it comes back, and it's Cap catching it, and that right there got everyone excited. But Thor, you know, just that big old grin. I knew it. Thanos just looks at him, gets all pissed off, and just
he's like, wait, what? And he just kicks him
to the ground again. It's like. Like, shut up.
Man was upset.
Cap ran in swinging that motherfucker. Then, like Daddy said, hit him with that Shoryuken and shit.
It was like there's actually a T-shirt someone made of that scene. It's got that, and it's got the Shoryuken inputs, like you know how in practice mode you see the inputs you put in.
Yeah.
It's got that underneath it. It's awesome. Like I wanted that shirt so bad.
Motherfucking quarter circle forward, heavy punch. Hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
Shit. I mean, yo, Cap was doing some new age. He was doing some new Marvel combos like Jamil said and shit like that. Like, so yeah, that was a damn moment. And anything else? We got to seriously wrap this. We ain't touched Spider-Man yet.
Okay, I will say. Okay, in response to some of the stuff in the chat, Jamil says he's going to be here in a couple minutes.
So yeah, we got to wrap up and talk about Spider-Man because remember we gotta be out of here before a certain time.
A fight between Strange and Thanos was.
That fight was hype. That was legendary.
That's why they gave it to him then because he didn't really do much now except wait.
Vision had no chance of coming back. That was kind of actually. You know, I don't want to like get too into this because I could spend like a half hour talking about just the ways he could come back. But I will say that there actually is a very high probability that he will come back. What?
Sorry.
Why?
No, it's not. I'm playing Mario Maker right now.
Well, what the hell?
Man, all right. So are we allowed to game and podcast at the same time? Because
I heard them buttons. I heard them buttons one time.
There are a number of ways in which Vision actually could come back. I'll say that. What also is sad though is basically Peter's Gamora. She's gone.
Yeah.
The one that he fell in love with, the one that fell in love with it, and now he's stuck with this version of her that, like, he still got that emotional attachment. He still loves her. That is literally. Yeah. The woman he fell in love with now, she like can barely stand him again.
He got to run game all over again. He doesn't get the benefit.
Yeah, I mean, it's also sad though, the realization that he's got all these memories with her now, and yet she doesn't, and that's gonna hurt. That is gonna be hard for him. And
so, did they state whether she stayed there or went back the other
time? She's staying with them.
All right.
Yeah, there's no point in her going back at this point.
Yeah.
So that could have some interesting consequences too. So we'll see how that goes. But I will say that there is at least one alternate universe, no matter what, that sprang out of this, with Thanos going back and dying, and Gamora staying there, and that Nebula being dead. There are going to be there's at least one permanent alternate universe out there. But alternate timeline.
Real quick though.
Yeah.
How you feel about Thanos dying though? Was y'all cool with that?
Honestly, I wanted him to die. I wanted him to die just because one of the things that I love about Thanos and one of the things that makes him really scary is that no matter how many times he is killed, that man finds a way to not stay dead. And I want to see him just straight up come back at some point.
Y'all niggas thought I was gone?
Mm-hmm.
That would be freaking amazing.
Come back on some Reverse Flash shit. Come back with his memories and shit. Like, y'all want to jump, motherfucker, making this gumbo. Come on,
oh, come on, run that shit. And you know the thing is, that 2014 Thanos saw what happened to 20. What year is that? 2018.
2018.
Oh, it's 2018. Yeah, so he saw that shit. So he double man. He big man.
Oh yeah, that's actually something that I love too, because see, the Thanos that we saw in Infinity War, like that was a Thanos that basically knew that he had already won, that his victory was inevitable. That once he got that first stone, it was just it was steamrolling from there. That was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing that could stand in his way. And when this Thanos in the past, sees that that he actually did it, that he actually accomplished his dream. And that, the people that he was so sure would be grateful and everything, that they were ungrateful, that they were trying to undo it, that they were trying to stop him from achieving that. Like, that's when all pretense of benevolence and everything else just went out the window. I love the fact that they actually captured the fact that Thanos is a sociopath. He is a complete sociopath. And that's like the flip side. They flipped that switch. And he was out of benevolence mode. He was into straight up, fire and brimstone mode.
Right. Oh, you know what the funny thing is? I always wondered that. I always wondered why this Thanos was so much more aggressive as opposed to the other Thanos who I not sympathetic, but I could kind of vibe with what he was going for in a really fucked up way. But this one was just like, nah. I remember there was a theory going around from some people that the reason why 2018 Thanos was weaker than 2014 Thanos was because the stones had been zapping his power this whole time. So he wasn't as powerful without the stones compared to 2014 Thanos. I don't know how true that is. Some people said something.
Not at all. Like, honestly,
exactly.
He didn't even have the Power Stone until like right before Infinity War started.
Right.
And that's the thing. Thanos ain't weak. He was just benevolent. He
was just a guy. I mean,
it was a god complex, really. And once that god complex got shattered, and he realized that these people weren't going to be bowing at his feet, thanking him for saving them, but rather trying to undo what he did, and viewing him as a monster. It's like, you know what? Fine then. I'm not going to save you. I'm going to wipe you from existence and create a new universe that will be grateful. It's like, see, that's the thing. It was never really about them. It was about his end goal. He even said, watch the sun set on a grateful universe.
A grateful universe.
He wanted to be a savior. And when they rejected him as that, he's like, fine, then I'll be your destroyer. I will kill you all, every single one of you. And that is comic book Thanos. That I love that level of ferocity and that level of just, if you won't fall in line with what I want, I will grind you into dust, and then I will find a way to destroy that dust. He doesn't play.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love seeing him fight. Like, he fighting all them without those stones too. Like, you got to keep in mind that Tony was in a very advanced set of armor, and he basically fought Thor and Cap with the power of Thor. So that's like 2 Thors and 1 really souped up Iron Man, and he was still whooping all their asses.
Yeah.
Like, Thanos is not a slouch without the stones like so many people thought. And this is just movie Thanos. Like, you want to get into comic book Thanos and some of the arcane stuff he can do, the sorcery he has, the energy projection abilities. Like, this dude can do spells too that can rival some of what Strange can do as Sorcerer Supreme. He is not a slouch in any regard. This is a guy who fought Odin to a standstill.
Yeah.
Without the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. This motherfucker had Galactus chained up once to the bottom of his ship, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know how hard it is to pull up on that motherfucker.
TLDR, y'all need to stop sleeping on Thanos. But okay, we do gotta.
We do gotta like get to the ending and then
The
tackle
ending was
Spider-Man.
great. The ending was great. Love the ending. You know, really sad. Iron Man died. We could spend an hour talking about that, but we won't because there are two things we really need to talk about the end of this movie. One of those being who got the shield.
Yeah.
You know, hashtag not my cap.
Hashtag this nigga Clarence.
y'all gonna act like we just didn't have somebody join in.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, Jamil.
Oh, I had no idea. Hey.
Or is he still speeding here and he ain't quite here yet?
Yeah, he's speeding, but he just put that phone up like, all right.
He's like, as soon as I get in the crib, I'm pressing unmute.
Literally.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I find it funny how people are like throwing a fit that Bucky didn't get the shield just because they think he's supposed
He
to. Have
need to be Captain America, man. See, that's
Me too.
people were saying that shit the instant they saw the Winter Soldier. Like,
Oh God, that one scene.
he gonna be Cap one day. And he don't.
It's like why I don't understand, and nobody can say why Sam shouldn't be other than he don't have powers. And I'm just y'all do know that Cap didn't have powers either when he was chosen to be Cap, right? Like that's not what the role is.
And
about.
can we also talk about the fact that Bucky, even if he accepted the mantle, this man is tired. He's been through war his entire life. He's been brainwashed.
Well, let's get real about Bucky, even in the comics, taking on the role. First and foremost, Steve never chose Bucky. Steve did not make Bucky his successor. Tony Stark did. And that's because Tony Stark felt directly responsible for Captain America's death, which, being perfectly blunt, he was, with the events of Civil War. And he thought that, you know, the country needs a Captain America and someone to still lead that movement, even if, you know. So he basically funded his own opposition because he's the one who chose Bucky to be Captain America. He's the one who got him the shield. He's the one who actually agreed to provide him with telepaths on hand. See, that's the thing. Bucky, to be Captain America, actually had to have telepaths on hand at all times to nullify or intercept any kill orders that might come in that could potentially trigger his Winter Soldier programming. It still wasn't out of him at that point. You know, like that. And being perfectly blunt, Bucky was not a good Captain America. There's a reason that his run as Cap, his stint as Cap, lasted maybe a year. And it's because he just really was not that good of a Cap. He really wasn't. I mean, I love Bucky's character, and I love him as Winter Soldier, but Winter Soldier and Captain America are two very different beings. All right, it'd be like this isn't the best comparison, but offhand, it'd be almost like asking Punisher to be Daredevil. Okay,
Right.
like they're not quite that diametrically opposed in worldview, but Steve has, you know, an image and some honor and everything to him. Bucky believes in doing what he has to do to get the job done. Bucky is not afraid to go in there and get his hands dirty. Bucky, the kind of guy who sneak up on you with a knife and just end you right there. And while there is, you know, need for someone like that and use for someone like that, that's not who Captain America is. So this idea that he had to take on the mantle just because he had it in the comics, worse than that, just because they think he had it first in the comics, is it's just silly. It really is, especially since, you know, even in the MCU, he's not a Captain America, and he's fine with that. You know, he agrees with that. He just wants to retire, for God's sakes.
Yeah, there's those people. I forgot I had a term for it. I think I called them dry comic fans, where it's like they know moments, whether they read the whole series or not, but they know moments, and they think just because certain moments happen, they need to, regardless of the narrative, they need to happen in movies. So the instant we had the Winter Soldier, Everybody just knew up and down he was gonna be Cap one day. Uh, the instant they said Spider-Man was gonna be in Civil War, he had to get the Iron Spider suit in
Right.
that.
Yep. Oh my God.
Like, like that, and like regardless what it ended up happening, people were saying in that movie because it's Civil War, it needed to happen, and then Cap needed to die, and it's like, and I remember one dude on Twitter kind of popped off. He's like, all right, I'm gonna be that guy and say it. Cap didn't die in Civil War. He died in the death of Captain America.
Well, I mean, technically, Peter didn't get that suit in Civil War either. He actually got it before. And the reason that Tony even gave it to him was actually in direct response to how bad Moreland had jacked him up, because it was right after the other had concluded.
Yeah. So, like, see, that's why I say dry fans. It's like they kind of have this generalized idea that shit that needs that. How many people, I swear, every time General Ross shows up, he's like, he gonna be Red Hulk one day. Watch. I was like, that shit might not ever happen. I don't think
it probably won't, and honestly, it probably shouldn't.
Probably shouldn't. That's not a can of worms we need to open right now. Since we can get a solo Hulk film and shit like that. Like, and it's like, so people just automatically think that Bucky needed to be Cap first. The narrative doesn't need that right now.
I'm also going to be the one to say it. Bucky actually did not have the mantle before Sam.
Oh, tell him, Danny.
Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, #8 in 1999. When Steve Rogers was presumed dead, and a bunch of white supremacists, white nationalists, were actually taking up his name, trying to use him as their symbol, as their rallying cry. Sam actually, because he watched a black store owner actually take it out of his window and throw it onto the ground, a costume, a Captain America costume. Seeing how that symbol was being tarnished and everything, and how he couldn't stand for that, he actually went over, took that costume, put it on, grabbed Steve's shield, and went out there acting as Captain America until they found out that Steve was actually still alive and just kind of healing, and then he came back.
Yep. So there you go, truth bomb.
But yeah, Sam Wilson was Captain America before Bucky was. So there you go.
Yeah. Dun. All right, but now touching up on that ending real quick, because
we burn way.
Okay. The last thing that I want to say about the ending is that I don't like it. I don't like what they did with Captain America.
He's like straight up like, nope.
I don't. I mean, I hate the fact that they seem to regress his character for the sake of fan service. Okay, like friggin' Peggy moved on. She got married. She had kids, etc. Her husband had apparently died. She was alone. She had Alzheimer's. She was in that hospital. And things moved on. Steve didn't even manage to get a first date with her. There was definitely a mutual attraction, and I'm sure they had feelings for each other. But this idea that it was somehow this deep love spanning across time is purely fan-made, and I hate that they cater to that. I do. But I will
love his wife in Endgame.
Yeah, I will say that depending on whose version you go by in terms of what happened there, I will accept it more than the other. And the reason I say that is because depending on who you talk to, when Cap stayed gone, if you talk to Marcus and McFeely, and the reason I don't buy them is because of the crap they fed along with this explanation, that this was always planned. They had been planning this ever since they did Civil War, yada, yada. Because it's like, if y'all planned this in Civil War, y'all deliberately had Steve kiss his own niece then? But I digress. They claim that when Steve took that stone back, the Tesseract back, he stayed with Peggy. And that's it. And it was in this timeline, and he just somehow never did anything that could potentially affect the timeline, and somehow no one ever recognized that Steve Rogers was still alive. Now, if you go by what the Russos said, though, according to them, yes, Steve did go back, but it was actually even further back than when he took the Tesseract back. He went back to when he first disappeared, and he created an alternate timeline where he did live his life out through there and he did, things are different there. Now that's interesting because that you could even potentially do like movies or a series or something exploring. But it's also a lot less out of character in that, while it's still kind of fan service pandering, the idea that Steve would sit there through all this and through all these horrible events in history and just not say anything, not do anything. And then when Peggy gets Alzheimer's, just, basically ditch her, not even show up at her funeral, not even show up at, that kind of thing. That is not in character. That I can't buy. So if we're going by the Russo's explanation, I can accept that at least. I don't necessarily like it, but I'll accept it. If we go by what Marcus and McFeely said, no. No, I refuse to accept that. I'm sorry.
Tell him.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still to this day don't know how I feel. I think I was just more so bummed about, that being, Cap's decision on the world. I don't think I really took anything extra out of it except for me wondering. I was like, so were they trying to say that, his life living in this modern world that just wasn't good enough for him, or what? I don't know. But like, that's just. I was just more so bummed to know that okay, this is how they write out Cap without killing him, so to speak.
Right.
Well, I mean, it also one interesting thing about that though is that well, if you know Captain America comics anyway, like there was that saga. Remember where Steve was an old man for a while?
Well, yeah.
And then he actually got his youth restored. I wonder if they might do something like that. Just that would probably also be their excuse for like recasting the role someday too, if they ever go that route.
Yeah, I can see that being like probably sporadic moments where he might, get his youth back and stuff like that.
That'd be an interesting thing if they ever chose to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Mackey's Cap now. Y'all got to deal with it.
Accept it.
hey,
Oh, I should also probably mention another reason that people suddenly have a problem with it, even if they didn't before, is because of that Black Mirror episode.
Oh God. God.
It's like
Striking Vipers.
It's like Heath Ledger, but it's happening in reverse. It's fascinating.
man, what? Ever.
I've already forgotten that episode, so thank you for bringing that up.
No, I mean it's dumb though, because it's like it's a dark, twisted sci-fi series. You were expecting it to be a wholesome episode or something like. At that point, if you're bugged by someone doing a role in that series and something,
exactly,
for that character, like I don't know what you expected, my guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I like some of the. I like the concept of Black Mirror. I'm one of those people that also thinks they kind of take some of their concepts like beyond the realm of good taste.
I think honestly, when Netflix picks it up, is where it starts to get really, really bad.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the very first episode, back before they even had it.
Really, I actually love that. Man.
No, the pig thing.
The pig, yeah, that was the good episode.
Yeah, I know.
It was wild.
I don't know. It's weird to me.
I feel you.
Bestiality is a thing that. I mean, Iowa. Anyway.
Oh man, this is. I was about to say this. It's a shame this isn't a video because I would have you add that scene from you seen that movie The Devil's Rejects.
Oh God.
The guy like, y'all ain't about to go fucking these chickens now.
Oh my God.
But nah, though. Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Now moving on because we might as well tackle this.
How about we do this with Spider-Man? All right. Let's just get right to it. The thing I think a lot of people kind of want us to talk about.
Is Jamil coming in for this? Is he there?
He ain't said nothing yet, so I don't know. Let's just get down to it and make it more. I mean, yeah, we're gonna talk about the movie, but let's just kind of condense it to more discussion of the MCU spy. I think that's probably what people want us to speak more on.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I kind of want to talk about the movie too, just because, like, there are things that, yeah, I mean, like, there's some stuff that I did still like really like about this movie. there's a lot of stuff I really disliked about it too, but there's a lot of stuff I really liked, and that's part of why I'm so conflicted about what they're doing. You know?
Hello.
Oh,
Game.
Oh, he's here. Perfect
we
timing.
can hear you very quietly.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
is it very low?
Yeah, your volume's pretty low.
What the fuck?
Okay, now you're better. Now you're better. That's weird.
Okay, there we go. I didn't
Yeah.
see Far From Home. In fact, but I got spoiled on it, so it doesn't matter.
Did you get spoiled with the right thing though? Because Rob saw two different versions.
Yeah.
Are we talking about spoilers in the podcast today?
Yeah, we're doing spoilers at this point. Yeah, spoiler warning. If you don't want to get spoiled on Spider-Man, skip the rest of this. There you go.
R.I.P. y'all.
Did it involve multiverse?
No. I mean, it did, but no. I think you might have actually read a fake synopsis, bro.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well,
Well, you're about to get spoiled then if you don't leave.
It's fine because I really hadn't planned on seeing Far From Home like anytime soon. So
hey, oh come on, it's worth checking out.
All right, just for fun, what did you read?
That there's a multiverse and Nick Fury was a Skrull. And...
Okay, well, part of that.
Did you see?
Whoa! Whoa!
What? Wait, which was real?
Just hang on. Talk about the multiverse. What else?
Hold on, because I gotta ask. Was it the one? Was it the leak that said Peter got trapped in like another world at the end of the movie or some shit like that?
No, mine didn't say that. I just said that Nick Fury was a Skrull.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you this: the multiverse thing. No,
That was a lie.
I mean it's kind of a lie, but kind of not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole thing with it's exactly what you expected. Mysterio was lying on his ass. So.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like Iron Man 3, but done right.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. In fact, that's why I think it's kind of funny that. In fact, I think that might have been deliberate based on the fact that all those people on Beck's team were actually Tony's former employees that he treated like crap. So.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Gotta fix that. Gotta fix that movie.
Yeah. But no. The thing about Fury being a Skrull technically is, but probably not the way they tried to sell it to you. I'll just spoil this right off the bat. It turns out that one of the reasons that this is actually brilliant in hindsight too. Because one of the things about Nick Fury you notice in this movie is that he's acting a little bit out of character, and some of the way he speaks and the cadence of his speech and everything, and even the way he's like slurring an S or two at times, it feels off. And then at the end of the movie, in the post-credits, they revealed that Fury and Maria Hill were actually Talos and his wife pretending to be them because they're off in space doing something.
I thought that was freaking
But
dope.
yeah, Sam Jackson actually. So Samuel L. Jackson was actually playing Talos, playing Nick Fury, and he actually plays it as Talos playing Nick Fury.
Yeah.
In that
Wait,
sense,
Talos? Wait, who's
Yeah.
Talos?
From
the
Captain Marvel.
from Captain Marvel.
You know I didn't see that movie, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
right. I was about to say,
Apparently, it made $1 billion, but no one's really seen it. That's what. Crazy.
I've seen it.
Empty theaters now.
I saw it twice. That's the craziest thing.
Talos was a great part of that movie. I don't.
Oh,
care
he
how
was.
you-
He was. Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, Ben's great.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so no, the idea. But see, everyone who was like trying to spoil that for people kept saying, oh, Nick Fury's been a Skrull this whole time. Nick Fury's been a Skrull this whole time. It's like, no, he hasn't. This is very specifically Nick Fury out in space, Talos pretending to be him for now. Like, this is not a case of Nick Fury's been a Skrull. Like, there's that one dude who, didn't he, like, right before Homecoming came out, didn't he publish that video with, like, proof that Nick Fury died in Winter Soldier and he's been a Skrull this whole time?
Oh God.
And then it's like the ending of Far From Home, like, completely blows that out of the water. It's not possible.
Yeah, I mean that like the narrative is like it's crazy these theory narratives that try to get a full sprint because so now everybody's trying to pinpoint because they think for movies that Fury has been swapped out and it's been a Skrull and like now they're trying to get the whole thing running that it was during Winter Soldier with a switch happened. It's just like
Nah.
There's nothing. So There's still no X-Men cameo. Okay,
Nope.
big nap. Big
Nope.
nap.
There you go. That's all you need to know about Far From Home.
Well, I mean,
Big
they weren't. They're not gonna tease the X-Men this early, bro. They're not.
Of course not. 2025.
I'm hurt.
We out there.
But yeah, no. The thing with the multiverse is, I mean, there is one technically. Like the fact that Steve went to another timeline, and then there's an alternate 2014 that has Thanos and his daughters completely removed from it. So there's at least 2 other permanent alternate universes out there.
Right, so there's an MCU where pretty much Thanos never killed. Wait. Oh shit.
There's a timeline where Thanos ain't around to assemble the Infinity Stones.
So
And there's a
basically,
timeline
everyone
where
in that timeline's good.
and there's a timeline where Steve actually went back to where he disappeared in World War II and lived out a full life. So Captain America was influencing things like into the 50s, 60s, 70s, etc. Now that might be interesting to kind of visit at least once. I hope they do that in their What If series, but I digress. Anyway, point is, so yeah, that like I said, spoilers for Far From Home. If you didn't get out at this point, though, it's on you.
I mean, I feel at this point we kind of already spoiled something.
All right. Now, I mean, like, I don't know if I want to do like a proper review of this. I kind of do, but I feel like I want to do that on my own channel.
I'd say save that for the channel.
Yeah. But like some of the things that I liked about Far From Home, I absolutely loved Mysterio.
Oh,
It did bug me just a tiny bit, that they felt the need to tie him to Stark again. But at the same time, that's a minor thing. The fact that his personality was pretty much the same, but instead of like an actor or a special effects guy who got like kicked out of Hollywood for being too weird, it's like he was a brilliant technician who got like screwed over. So that kind of makes sense to me. I do, and part of me likes the fact too that even after Tony died, they didn't like go out of their way to sanctify the guy. Like it does kind of point out that even after Tony like got quote unquote better, he did still have some flaws. He did have a tendency to kind of say things and do things without necessarily thinking about other people's feelings per se. Like the fact that Beck introduces this 3D holographic thing, this whole simulation, and Tony basically co-opts it, uses it for his own personal therapy, and then nicknames it Barf. I can see where that would like really jade you as a person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it'd be too easy for Marvel to basically just go, oh, everyone loves Tony Stark. Tony just died. We need to take it easy with that. But they didn't, and I'll give them some credit for that. Because in terms of how it's applied in the movie, it was actually used in a constructive way, as opposed to just, we're going to take a dump on your heroes. So, they managed to work that in pretty well. I did like the fact that Peter does finally make his own suit. He makes it, sir. Chill. Okay, no. I will give you that I didn't like the fact that he had to use Stark's stuff to make it. I will give you the fact that I didn't like the fact that Happy's blasting AC/DC. Although the Led Zeppelin joke was funny. But come on, you know.
Interesting.
You laughed. You laughed.
I don't know.
You chuckled. You chuckled. I know you. You chuckled.
Oh, sure I did.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Sure I did.
You did. But yeah, I love the fact that he actually took a look at all the pre-existing designs Stark had and just basically swiped left on all of them. Started from scratch, made his own, designed his own weapon on the fly that he was going to use. Made sure that it had like a manual detonation on it and everything. Did not put an AI in this suit at all. No AI. Everything that he does while he is in that suit is all Peter Parker. And I loved that. That made that last act of the movie like amazing for me. And I loved the direction they're kind of taking him. I feel like that it's a little abrupt that they're taking him in that direction, but it feels like they're kind of starting to move him more towards Spider-Man status quo. You know, and I feel that with the characters too, what they do with MJ makes her a little bit closer to Mary Jane, I think. Not completely, mind you, but closer. What they do with Peter makes him a lot closer to comic book Peter. What they do with the just Spider-Man status quo in general is a lot more comic booky, I feel. Um, I, I'm gonna save my thoughts on a certain post-credit scene for when everybody talks about that, but you know, but there were some things that I just didn't like in terms of being a Spider-Man movie, but also in terms of just in general as a film. Like that whole subplot with what's his name, Brad.
Ugh.
Yeah, that could have been completely cut out of the movie. And really, like the only thing that it contributed was an excuse to show off how dangerous that weapon satellite was.
Yeah.
And a scene that really feels like an awkward, like frankly, if you were like 16 years old and you go into a room you think is a bathroom and there's a woman who's in a position of authority over him, basically ordering him to strip in front of her, that's creepy. That was creepy. That scene was creepy. They tried to play it up for laughs, but it was straight up creepy. Like that, like she didn't even have the decency to like look away or leave the room or anything while he did it. You know, she demanded that he do it in front of her while she watched. That is creepy. Period.
Extremely.
So, like stuff like
that.
that, I really don't think that needed to be in the movie. Probably shouldn't have been in the movie. Like they really should have left that on the cutting room floor. And the reason that that's especially upsetting to me now is, in retrospect, you find out that one of the scenes that they cut from the movie just so that they could insert it as a Blu-ray extra, not even a deleted scene, but like a little mini like scene specifically for the Blu-ray, is a scene where Peter really wants to go on this trip to Europe, but it basically reveals that he and May are still financially struggling. And so, like, they're not, like, super ridiculously dirt poor, but, like, you know, they can't really budget for him to be able to go to Europe. So basically, Peter has to try to sell all his Star Wars stuff. Because apparently the reason that he brought up Star Wars in the first place is that he was actually starting to get into it, and then he became a fan of it and started collecting it. Now he's going to sell his entire collection to pay for that trip. And that would have actually been a very Peter Parker-y scene. And, you know, but that gets removed from the movie, but we keep in the pedophilia PSA for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff like that's just, I don't know. I question that from a filmmaking perspective. But then we have the MJ stuff. I actually kind of liked what they were doing with her through the second half. The first half of the movie, they still had her just like being kind of mean for no reason. Like, I really wish that the whole "yeah, I kind of like you too" thing wasn't so abrupt. Like they had at least hinted at it in the beginning of the movie. I did like what they were kind of doing with her later, though. Like the whole thing with I have this thing about getting close to people because and it's like go on. They cut it off there, but it's like I want to know more about that because that is actually one of the reasons that Mary Jane in the comics had that whole party girl facade. She had this thing about getting too close to people and letting people into her life, especially after the relationship she had with her father and what it did to her family. She also had hang-ups about marriage because of what happened with her sister and her sister's marriage and her parents' marriage, and the fact that her sister kind of married way too young to a guy who, you know, wasn't really ready for that responsibility either. But she did it because she wound up, if I'm not mistaken, I think she actually wound up pregnant, and that's why they got married. I don't know if they ever outright said that, but it's kind of implied that's why. Because she was like very pregnant very shortly after they got married. But okay, I'm getting off topic here. But like, you know, that's something from Mary Jane that was starting to show up in movie MJ, and it's like, okay, I like where you're going with that. I did like that by the end of the movie, at least, it feels like even if a little bit clumsily, they are trying to get Peter back to his status quo where he should be. I'm annoyed that it took 2 movies to get us here, but I like the fact that we're finally getting it.
So he's no longer Iron Man Jr.
And not
Yeah.
as much. Not as much.
Man, all I'm about to say about Spider-Man Far From Home is that this was basically Spider-Man Homecoming retreaded.
Well, kind
Like-
of, but done
Like
better.
the end of the movie, they were just like, you know what, you're your own character, go do your own thing. At the end of this movie, you know what, you're your own character, go do your thing. I'm like, bro.
Okay, Chris. Now I want to ask you something because this
Yeah.
kind of pertains to the MCU Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been better if Peter didn't die in the snap? Because I talked to Danny. Danny said no. But I'm asking you that is because if they did that, imagine, for example, Peter didn't die in the snap. So 5 years passes. He's 21. He's in college, going to be graduating soon. And he's already established himself. And you have to do it on his own because, you know, Tony wouldn't have been fucking helping him.
But then you'd have to incorporate him into Endgame's story, and that's just another character that you'd have to put. And
It would also necessitate that unless you're gonna do every Spider-Man movie as a prequel,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, you would have to. Yeah, basically, we'd see none of that. So it would just be like a really abrupt, sudden character shift.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have to do that as a prequel.
Like, what's worrying me about this is that Marvel is basically taking the long road. They're playing the long game with this, and literally how they're gonna have a whole trilogy of him, kind of maybe sort of thinking about becoming Spider-Man full time. Then they're gonna have another trilogy, and then they're gonna have another trilogy.
I'll say this. I do fully believe that in the third movie we are gonna see him being like Spider-Man. But like I said, I'm annoyed that it took us 2 movies to get there.
But that, bro, that's
real quick.
I know. I feel your pain. Believe me, I do.
Real quick. So anybody want to take a bet on what the name of the third movie is gonna be? Is it gonna be senior year or graduation?
It's gonna be Spider-Man. You can't go home again.
It's about to be Spider-Man Homies introducing Miles Morales. Shout out.
I can feel Danny's
at this point, man.
You know what? They actually could do that, especially since if Miles wasn't, didn't disappear in the snap, he'd be close in age.
There we go.
So hey, you know what? You could do a Spider-Man thing, maybe make them a team. There you go.
Oh, but then again, that's another Spider-Man movie where they're taking away the focus.
Oh man, like no.
Bro, it's another Spider-Man movie where they're taking away the focus of Peter Parker.
I know. I'm just saying that potentially.
Oh, you know what they could do?
What?
They could do 2 Spider-Man movies.
Hey, here's an idea. What if? Much as I kind of would prefer the original character, what if they make this Miles his Hobby Brown, as it were?
Then we get the accusations of racism.
No, I mean then we get Spider-Man and the Prowler. There you go.
No, bro. Well, I mean, no.
Okay, Danny, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I understand what you're saying, but in this cultural landscape, it's not gonna blow over.
Hell no.
But hey, look.
See,
Danny will be like, well, they still have Spider-Verse.
Avi Arad and Amy Pascal are involved. When have they ever even thought about that?
Spider-Man Home Alone. Oh God.
Home Alone.
No, well, what other title could you put home in? Well, Spider-Man Homebound.
Wait a minute. Spider-Man Safari, because he fights fucking Kraven the Hunter. There it is.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I don't know if they can ever do that because, like, Sony's got this thing, allegedly, about not letting the MCU use villains that they want to use for solo movies, and they want to use Kraven in a solo movie.
They're trying to make solo villain movies with no Spider-Man.
Oh, no, that's the thing. They actually would put a Spider-Man in that movie. It just wouldn't be the same Spider-Man from the MCU, but it may still be played by Tom Holland.
What the fuck?
That's
no, that ain't the dumbest part. The dumbest part is that it's going to be Kraven's origin story, and it's still going to be based on Kraven's last hunt.
Oh, because everything makes sense.
Well, I mean, that's what they do. Look what they did for the Venom movie. They like tried to rip Lethal Protector and Planet of the Symbiotes and jam it into one movie. Why? Because they're 2 well-known Venom arts.
Hell yeah.
They
Or
do that sniper shit, man.
Craven's most famous arc is what? Craven's Last Hunt. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to make a movie out of that. That's what Sony does. They don't really care about, whether or not it makes sense. It's whether or not it's popular. Well, I shouldn't say Sony.
That's your company, huh? That's your company, huh?
It's more specifically, Avi Arad and Amy Pascal, and they have a history of that. Like, they don't care, whether or not it does X, Y, or Z. They care about whether or not it's popular and well known, because they want to capitalize off that goodwill. It's why, frankly, because the Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't get a lot of goodwill, why they were finally willing to work with the MCU and agree to that. It had nothing to do with the fact whether or not it was successful, because, being perfectly blunt, both Amazing Spider-Man movies were very financially successful. And so but see, the easiest thing to do is bank off goodwill. And since they couldn't do that at that point, they figured, well, we'll bank off goodwill by joining up with them, and that'll get us all kinds of goodwill. And, and so there you go. And what's one of the first things they try to do? They want to get him, joining up with the Avengers potentially, but he turns it down. But, and they unveil the Iron Spider suit. Why? Because, people wanted to see it. And that's what I mean. Stuff like that. They do things because they're popular and because they think it'll get them more goodwill, not necessarily because it makes sense to do it.
Because they're a hack.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pascal and Arad are hacks, man.
Did they really call Peter Spider Sense his Peter Tingle or some shit?
Yeah, they think
It's just not cute or funny.
It is gross.
They think they're being funny because it's also a penis joke, but it's like no. And see, what's stupid too is when they interviewed the writers about why they did that. It's like, when we were starting to think, Spider Sense, that kind of an odd-nosed cheesy name. Would people really?
I don't really remember. Did they ever reference Spider Sense in the Raimi movies?
Yeah.
They actually called it Spider Sense?
No, not by name.
Oh, okay. So
it was when in the first movie when he got his power. I remember giving like that whole freaking future sight 360 vision.
Yeah, I know that. No, I meant like
he's like, did they ever say the name? No.
But I think it's like
you don't need to.
I know you don't need to say the name, and it's
but
like
the thing about it is the Spider Sense didn't even work like that when he first got it. I was like that.
That Spider Sense had me dead. How literally it made his hair stand on edge and he
What gets to me though is just their whole excuse for calling it the Peter Tingle is basically, Spider Sense really on the nose, and it's kind of corny, and people wouldn't be able to take it seriously. So if you're going to use a name that people can't take seriously anyway, why not do something that people can at least have fun with? And basically,
it's a dude in a unitard.
Just bear with me here. One of the reasons they do this, Chris, is because they're targeting teenagers. They're targeting kids. They're targeting the youth with
the Fortnite generation.
So what are they doing? They're making things that are easy to meme. Why? Because internet memes are free advertising.
Yeah.
And that's why they're
free advertising. Make sure you buy Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition.
Yeah. Speaking of advertising,
the Far From Home Twitter account even retweeted screen caps from the movie that were blatantly captured from a cam rip, and they started joking around with, "Oh, hey, where did you get those pictures?"
That was funny.
It's like, bro, see, they know what they're doing, and they know that
they want to be down so hard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right here, Becky. Where did you get these screenshots?
That was funny though. I
was
like, oh shit.
Hey, Danny. Someone in the chat said that apparently there's a rumor going around that if Far From Home doesn't make $1 billion, Sony's not renewing their contract.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that we're gonna. Okay, I want to give like Rob and Chris a chance to kind of vent a little bit, and then we're gonna have a talk about the whole situation with Marvel and Sony, because it's a bit more. I'll just say this: it's a very complicated scenario, and it does deserve some talking about, some discussion. So I am going to turn this over to Rob and let him give his thoughts.
Far From Home, I'm gonna say that hasn't been said already. I enjoyed, I think, like Chris said it a lot. Second half of the movie was shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, that whole beginning that I don't like the whole when they try to do the MTV True Life shit with Spider-Man.
Oh
Like
god.
they can keep all that. They go a little extra with it and shit like that. That's why I got a feeling like I could just see the logo saying like being the next movie being like Spider-Man graduation or some shit like that. Like I really just want to graduate instead of being Spider-Man this time. Some shit like
Oh god.
hey, like, you know, because yeah, every movie he at the end he wants to be Spider-Man. Then at the beginning he kind of don't want to be Spider-Man. Shit like that. But yeah, so the visuals was great. I liked seeing that whole scene of when the water elemental and all that shit.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool. And all that. I really like that stealth suit. Uh, that's
Night Monkey?
say what?
Night Monkey?
I mean, it was basically a modern noir suit, somewhat,
Yeah. I
and
like
it looks dope in the game too.
Oh man, yeah, it looked pretty cool. But I swear, if we don't like see in the next movie like some sort of like Night Monkey spin-off, whether it's a TV show or like a comic book, something,
like a
I'm gonna be
tongue-in-cheek
upset.
joke, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that because one of the other things too that because look, if you're trying to be more like Spider-Man, one of the most frustrating things for him is how he can never like brand himself
Monetize
yeah,
anything.
monetize anything, and yet someone can rip him up and monetize it and be successful. That would be hilarious. But
true.
um but yeah, the whole Night Monkey thing was God.
uh, but yeah, man, the thing I just wanted to kind of talk about the most was that damn fight with Mysterio. How that shit looked like
Oh God.
Oh my
that shit.
god.
I love that we finally have something that like a mainstream thing that finally depicts how dangerous Mysterio actually is. That was amazing.
Yeah, that shit was trippy, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
that shit was Doctor Strange, like trippy. And I loved when he kept making the motherfucker change the suits. Remind me of the game. That's why I kept. I was like, this was the first teaser for Marvel Spider-Man 2. You know, what the freak was that fight?
Oh
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And,
I know Insomniac was like, oh
yeah,
snap.
hell yeah,
yeah.
they had him switching suits and shit. And I was like, man, like what the suit powers at, bro?
Yeah,
Right?
that hallway though, where he actually like had to close his eyes and just rely on his spider sense to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
That was incredible too. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. The spider sense everybody kept saying he ain't have. You know, like shit.
Yeah. And he just closes his eyes and then focuses and then just bam rips right through there. That just freaking loved it. Loved that.
And I'm like, man, I'm I'm when still did that shit to make it seem like Fury shot his ass, but then that was illusion.
Oh, that was great.
Went into illusion and shit.
I loved how far they went with that.
I was like, man, you can't. When he started questioning Happy Ass, I was like, yeah, that's how you should feel. You can't trust shit right now.
Yep.
Man, and then God, I love how they did the hallway version of that too, where like he's laying there like he's hurting
Did
everything.
you say hallway?
Yeah, it was a hallway scene.
Daredevil lives on, baby.
Yeah, but like just the way he sees him there and he's talking to him there on the ground, and then something just tells him like, move now when he does, and he grabs that gun and forces it upward, and there's Mysterio trying to shoot him in the head, and he's just like, you can't trick me anymore. That's it. Like
Right.
that was badass.
Hell yeah, man.
Them reflexes and everything. That just
Bro, they did Mysterio pretty damn well.
they did Mysterio pretty well, and they finally depicted the spider sense really well too. That was great.
Yeah, it's actually pretty. It's not like a fucking future sight 360.
Oh god.
I
Slow
was
mo.
like, I mean,
Hey.
it eventually evolves into that, but it's like that's not how it. Like what?
Oh,
Hey,
here's a
no-
fun fact. Do you want to know when the spider sense actually did turn into kind of a 360 radar, to where he could actually see things without having to look?
Like
When?
years after he had been around.
Well, a little bit, but no, it was actually back in an issue that was a team up with Daredevil, in which Peter actually, I forget what it was. I think it was like a really intense flashbang, like literally went off right in front of him. But he was blind for a while. His eyes were like damaged to the point where he was completely blind, could not see. They had to heal. which was actually a nice indicator too of his healing factor. But in order to compensate for that, his spider sense actually evolved and changed to the point where it was almost like Daredevil's radar sense. Not quite as keen, but really good. Like that was trippy.
Hey, nobody got the better spider sense flex than Spider-Man. Though. That motherfucker, Spider-Man can stand on the roof and use his spider sense to locate a motherfucker by looking into the future. Yeah, that was the spider sense flex. That motherfucker, hey, Japanese Spider-Man would stand on top of the tallest building, stand on the tallest building, fold his arms. He was spider sense, and just look into the future.
Oh God! You gotta love Japanese Spider-Man. They have to have him as one of the suits in the next game.
Yes.
I love that. I've watched that whole series twice. Oh, yeah. But yeah, overall, I guess my more deeper things that I'll slide into the whole Sunday discussion. So just overall, just talking about the movie now. I will say this is probably, despite some of the things that were nagging, this is probably still the best live action Spider-Man movie we had.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, so I could at least give it that. And first motherfucker that type Spider-Man 2 gonna get hit by Spider-Man. But yeah, I will definitely give them that. I still have a couple of glaring issues, but they're trying to work past all that and all that. So I mean, I'm willing to give them a chance to work past it because I know these were different circumstances when they got this Spider-Man. I mean, you could almost look at it as we're never gonna see him be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man because he's off like Fury City. He's been to space already.
I want to see more Lone. That is what I want, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get that.
Wait, Moreland?
Yes.
Oh no, you're never gonna get that.
Yeah, no.
Thanks, Danny.
He's like, nope,
Thanks,
not
man.
at all.
Like,
Not at all.
You might, but it won't be anytime soon. That's guaranteed.
Yeah. So it's like I'm not sure what really happens. It's like I would like for them to more hammer in on him trying to do his own shit, but I got a feeling I'm just waiting for him to end up just giving like a stake in Stark, and then now he's gonna be like not broke no more, but not necessarily crazy rich, shit like.
Yeah, well, see, that's one thing though that what I mean by the third act kind of trying to rather clumsily force him into his status quo. But like, are we done with most of the movie discussion? Are we ready to talk about that scene?
Yeah. If anything, yeah, we can talk about the scene.
All right. So yeah, the post-credit scene. I liked it to a point in that I liked the fact that well, first of all, actually, I don't know. I think this was actually before that scene, like at the end of the movie. That Spider-Man PS4 photo mode reference.
Oh God, I loved it. Oh,
that was great, and that was too. That was a direct photo mode reference. Insomniac Games, the devs there got like a special screening of the movie because of it, and when they saw it, they all like freaked out. So that was cool. But
was there two post-credit scenes or was there just one?
There was a
mid-credit scene and a post.
Mid-credits and post. But at the end of the movie, Jamil, he's actually like swinging, and he actually pulls out a camera and takes a selfie, and he does like the peace sign and everything, and he tilts his head just like the
game. He did the whole pose in the game. He did in the selfie mode.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was cool. It was.
There's even a moment somebody took the screenshot of that moment where like he had those white cables wrapped around and it kind of looked like the game suit.
Oh man.
Like, that shit was pretty hot too.
Yeah. Oh, there was also the Infinity War reference, but we're backtracking too much. Or not the Infinity War, Endgame reference, with the hammer and the shield. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was the.
But the mid-credit scene. Like I said, I liked what they kind of did with it in terms of they're kind of trying to push him toward the status quo. I dislike how far they took it though. But one thing I did not like was I just don't like the idea of. I think they took it from the game too, and while it makes sense in the game because Jameson's been like retired and he left the paper behind and everything, and his podcast is literally just his opinions on stuff.
Oh, wait, Jameson's in there?
Yeah,
Oh.
Jameson's in the movie, and he is played by J.K. Simmons again. But
Yo.
but he is
Oh my god,
very
that
much,
was such a genuine reaction.
very much, he is very much not J.K.
I am so glad you streaming this. I am gonna save it.
Saving this clip.
He is very much not Jameson, though, in that they took J. Jonah Jameson and they basically turned him into Alex Jones. Like
Yeah.
he even dresses like him. They made him like balding. Like
You,
him.
I mean, you basically seeing the physical version of the motherfucker from the game, man.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, Jameson, when he was a news guy, you know, like so he'd skew a bit and everything, and he'd have his opinions there. But like at the same time, if like his assumptions were wrong and everything, he would print a correction and admit he was wrong. He kept most of his opinions to his editorial sections. And when it came to like people who brought him like genuinely bad or bogus news, he would get genuinely angry about it and he would fire them.
He had his own morals in a sense.
Yeah, he was still for the most part a good news guy, and yet to see him like in this movie, you know, the Daily Bugle's not even a paper; it's literally InfoWars.
Yep.
You know, the questionable website, the dailybugle.net. You know, it's like they, you know, questionable, disreputable. He literally looks like Alex Jones. And I think one reason that they went with that angle too, though, is because they're trying to basically give themselves some wiggle room for what they do. But basically, it's revealed. First of all, it's kind of implied by this that Mysterio's not dead; he's alive, which would not shock me, and it'd be actually kind of cool because I love when they don't actually kill the villains. But
Yes,
back, it turns out the whole time he was filming this stuff with Spider-Man on the hallway and the catwalk there, the sky bridge, was, you know, he edited it afterwards to make it seem like Peter was the one who had been, you know, causing those illusions in London the whole time, and that he had tried to stop him. Made it seem like Peter was the one who shot him. And, you know, basically framed Spider-Man for everything Mysterio had done. And I said, okay, I can handle that because it's kind of clumsy, and I'm not sure why people would necessarily 100% go with that after everything he did with Iron Man and the Avengers and everything. But, you know, whatever.
Give me pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I could buy that to a point. But see, then afterwards, he said that's not all. And then Quentin Beck basically reveals to the entire world, complete with a photograph, that Spider-Man's real identity is Peter Parker.
Oh wait, they blew the lid on Peter's secret identity?
Yeah, I know. That's what
That's what bothered me the most.
Wait. Oh, we're gonna one more day this shit then.
Oh yeah, see that was one of the first things I worried about too. What I think they're actually probably gonna do is they're gonna have like the next movie of Peter trying to basically clear his name and prove he's not him. So they might actually try to take the identity crisis route. Do you know that arc at all?
I know a little bit of. I didn't finish reading it.
Okay, well, basically, what it boils down to is Peter actually had to create 4 alternate, quote unquote, super being identities, in order to
have Deadpool got thought of.
No, that's where Ricochet, the Hornet,
oh shit! Breaking news: R. Kelly was arrested and charged with federal sex trafficking.
Again. Wow.
Yeah.
Again.
Boy.
Damn! Breaking news.
Okay. Anyway, back on track. I didn't like the fact that, you know, I don't like the fact that they're going to use it for that, but they might. In that Peter Parker, in that he was basically Spider-Man was framed for murder. Okay, and in order to clear his name, Peter had to come up with like 4 separate identities that were different heroes, or in one case, a villain actually. Well, when it came to the Hornet and Prodigy, they were heroes. But when it came to Prodigy was actually very much a Superman style hero too. In fact, a lot of the power sets that he had, while actually being Peter's powers, were actually Superman's original powers. Like while he couldn't fly, he could leap really high in Thor and everything.
Gonna do all that shit, man.
Yeah. But and then Ricochet was just someone who used off, Peter's unnatural speed and reflexes and acrobatics, and Dusk was actually a costume that Peter found in the negative zone that allowed him to completely camouflage himself when he was in any kind of shadows at all. Which is why I said I really didn't know why they didn't make Miles Dusk in the Ultimate Universe, but I digress. Basically, he has to try to use all four of those identities to work different angles to try to clear himself of being a frame for that murder. He could do the same thing here in trying to basically prove Spider-Man didn't do it, or even prove that he's not Spider-Man at the same time, which could also be how he winds up working for Jameson. Mr. Jameson, I got pictures of Spider-Man. How could I be Spider-Man and these pictures? That kind of thing.
Right.
Which basically is then going to trap him into working for Jameson now, just because he's got to keep doing that to prove he's not him. And again, like I said, I can appreciate that they're trying to push him toward his status quo. And I do think that right there too is why they couldn't just give him stake in Stark Industries or anything like that, because
do you think Doctor Strange is going to help him in the next movie?
Oh, he could, because the thing that people forget about One More Day too is that the deal with
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, the deal with Mephisto isn't what made people forget Peter's identity. That's what saved Aunt May. Strange is actually what wiped everyone's memory.
Yeah, I just want to see. I
wish they hadn't gone that far. Like if they had kept it with him framing Spider-Man, that would have been perfect. I'd have been very happy with that.
Yeah.
They kind of. See, this is what I mean. I mean, the shit's moving too fast. We haven't gotten Spider-Man.
And we're already having his identity revealed.
Identity revealed? Ain't he been to space already? Just,
he's been to space? Identity reveal?
Shit. Let's go ahead and find the black suit after all.
I was about to say that.
Hey, listen, I don't want it, man, bro. Get that suit out of here, okay? I'm sorry, Danny. I don't know. I know you might like it, but I'm sorry. It's...
Woo! I love that suit. It looks great.
No.
Yeah.
Jamil just the Spider-Man 3 black suit is in Prince.
All I think of is edgy. You're gonna and
do not let Spider-Man 3 cloud your judgment.
Two things. Number one, you do know that that's based on Alex Ross's Spider-Man suit design, right?
No.
Yeah, it is. Look up Alex Ross's suit. You'll see it. Except Alex Ross's suit actually had even black eye pieces. That Slott also stole from that to create the Superior Spider-Man suit. But number two, it's also the reason that they went red and black, and the reason Alex Ross actually went red and black is because if you look at Steve Ditko's concept art for Spider-Man, he was originally going to make him red and black and not red and blue. The reason they wound up going red and blue is because since a lot of Amazing Fantasy 15 took place at night and everything, the blue made it stand out more.
Right.
And Stan actually wound up liking it more just because, it was more red, white, and blue, so it was more American flag, and he thought that would actually help it sell a bit more. But that's also why he then thought, between the colors and everything else, we're going to hyphenate Spider-Man because, first of all, we wanted to emphasize, he's a Spider-Man, but also because he didn't want people confusing it with, Superman, which was all one word. So he did that to make it stand out more on the newsstands too.
Oh, this suit.
Someone said cue the James Brown music for your boy Jamil.
I mean, I can understand, it's a preferential thing and everything, but I love it. And I think part of me, though, loves it less even just because of the design, although that white spider on the back is pretty sweet. But also because it's so nice to actually have a suit that Peter made for himself. And we're actually going to talk a little bit too about why they might have gone with that look for that suit. Because we gotta move on to the whole deal with Sony and and Marvel here real quick.
If anything, I feel like that's a discussion in and of itself that can be a long discussion because it's well after midnight and we were supposed to shut this off at midnight.
I was trying to bring it home. I was trying to bring it home.
Yeah.
I guess we'll be talking about that on Sunday then. But.
Yeah. So if anything, guys, we will continue the Spider-Man discussion because there's a lot to unpack from the whole Sony Marvel rights situation. We'll talk about that Sunday night in addition to Godzilla. And is there anything else we were going to discuss?
I think we were gonna.
Did you not discuss the Switch Mini, or is that already happened?
No, I mean that's not really.
It's
It's not really a topic that needs. It's. I mean, it's self-explanatory, you know.
That's what I was saying. Like Sunday, we should just have it more
Like,
open. Everybody
TLDR with the Switch Mini, it's whatever. But I do find it funny that some of the people who kept insisting it's not a handheld, it's a console first and foremost, are now pivoting to. Of course, it's a handheld. It's always supposed to be a handheld that could just connect to the TV. The haters always said that it was more and assumed it would be more. Don't even. But anyway, that's the entire crux of that whole situation right there. So that's how that. I don't know if that's really worth spending too much time on. So.
Yeah,
Give me a Switch Pro and I'll be happy.
Oh, facts. Switch Pro 2020. Let's get it.
I might get one of those Switch Lights though. Trade in the one I got toward that, just because I only ever use it as a handheld anyway, and I need that battery life.
Oh yeah, that extra 30 minutes. I mean, it might not be a big deal, but hey, makes a difference.
If nothing else, that gives me another 30 minutes to plug the dang thing in.
This man out of control. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we shall reconvene with y'all Sunday evening. We can probably do it a little bit earlier in the evening, so that way we can make sure we get the majority of the podcast down. But this was great, y'all. Always awesome chopping it up with everyone. Oh, what does someone say? Also, I can't be the only one who finds it funny that they're giving a cheaper version of the Switch a design based on the cheaper Pokemon game. God damn. Yikes, Jason.
Make sure y'all play Nudo Cooney.
Nudo Cooney. We got Dragon Quest. We got all the
Dragon Quest. You feel me?
Pokemon's a whole other thing I got thoughts on, but not now.
See?
Hey, if anything, that'll be our we can have a debate on that come Sunday. Definitely, because I know Jamil's got some words.
Come Sunday, we should call it the pop-off night. Everybody say what's on your chest, bro. Like
big time.
I got something to say, goddamn.
I got something to say. That's gonna be great. Anyways, y'all, we out. Peace.
Peace.